Hello and welcome to today's Monday Meetup. Today we recap the London Marathon, talk about Meb's Town Hall from last week, share all the stories from Lululemon store opening, as well as the virtual rock and roll marathon. We kick off the new 7-day consistency challenge and your weekly workout. All right, Bertrand, the Monday Meetup. We're back again. How are you doing?
Yes. Good, man. Good. Yeah. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Get after it.
Happy Monday. We'll get right into it. So we just chatted about the London Marathon. We created a separate video for that where we broke it down bit by bit. I know that you were online with Tommy from Run Duo Podcast and the crew on Saturday night. I had set my alarm, but I did not wake up to it. Looked like a fantastic showdown. We've got the whole breakdown, but I mean, biggest takeaways. I think unfortunate that Kipchoge couldn't win. He was dealing with some ear blockage issues, but still a fantastic finish on the men's side, down to a 1-second sprint across the board. And then on the women's side, just a fantastic story, especially for Americans, especially for us proud Northern California folks, our NorCal folks. Sarah Hall taking second place and really running her race, getting left in the dust almost halfway through, and then reeling people in, fishing them down one by one. We heard Verity Breen on our podcast talk about how she likes to do that as well, like especially when she was doing triathlons, getting off the bike and then just like picking people off, like wah, 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 little Pac-Man action right there. And right down to the end, taking
we talk about that in our Hammer Time track workouts. Is what's the philosophy? To dash and crash, or conserve and crush? It's all about conserving and crushing, and that's what Sarah did. I mean, she ran her race. She trusted her preparation, trusted her training, and it all paid off. Especially during the last 10K, last 5K. The last mile, the last half mile, the last quarter mile, it all paid off. And it looked like the majority of the race that she wasn't going to place, and it was going to be another American tale of, oh, American made it in the top 10. Great. But Sarah had different plans. And for her to get into the final 2-mile stretch and to gradually pick off the third place runner, fantastic. But to see her and the second place runner, the announcers even said, not enough time left, not enough real estate. But within that final probably 50-meter sprint, for her to close with determination and focus, man, what a fantastic finish. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the women's closing minutes of the 2020 London Marathon, please jump on YouTube, or we may be able to link to it here. Fantastic finish.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. Well, let's chat a little bit about Meb, who was, gracious enough to be on the Run Local Town Hall. JT and crew had you co-host that discussion.
Man, what a pleasure. What an honor. What an honor. I mean,
amazing.
Like a kid in a candy store, man. I mean, wow. I am just, I'll soak up any of that good energy, man, in 2020 especially. So, yeah, you were there. You're present.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I had a lot of big takeaways, I think, from the discussion. I think you kicked it off right away with a discussion on diversity in the sport. And I think Meb had a lot of great takeaways. He talked a little bit at the end on a subject that a lot of our guests have talked about, which is about outreach. And, I think running, especially with our youth these days, and especially within certain communities, is seen as a punishment, seen as a, hey, go run laps. That's the punishment. If you want to play sports, if you want to do basketball or something else. And so, we talked about the RRCA's direct involvement and how they want to do more youth outreach. We talked with Tess not too long ago about how, she always saw running as a punishment until she was in her 30s. And Meb was really clearly supportive of doing outreach to youth, making sure that we make sure running is seen as a fun sport, as a great sport for you to get into at a young age, at an age. So I loved him talking about that. I loved him talking about how that's really the bridge to making sure that our sport is more diverse over time. And so, yeah, I mean, I would love to dig in and discuss more about diversity and his, especially he's been in the elite field for a number of years, and to see his perspective, especially in the American field, it's not that diverse these days. And so, love to see and get more of his perspective. But I love that part of the kickoff. I love the other thing that he talked about. He talked about a lot of different things, but my other takeaway was that the small things really, really add up. We got into a discussion about compression socks and how he was one of the first to wear compression socks here in the U.S. He talked at a great lengths about recovery and how much time he spends on recovery, and that maybe at the time the other elite athletes didn't spend as much time on recovery. And he talked about how he had less than a 1% chance of winning that Boston Marathon in 2014. And that it was his perseverance, his attention to the small things, the little details that really got him to win that race, to be able to win that race. And I think that was a great takeaway for all of us. Pay attention to the small things, pay attention to the little things, because at the end of the day, those things do add up. And he did talk about, hey, sometimes you might not get the best sleep the night before a race, right? He slept only an hour or 2 hours before the New York Marathon. But trust in your training. Trust that what you've done to get you there will get you across the finish line. I thought that was great advice too. It's sometimes things happen on race day or happen, on the night before that you just can't control. But still, if you trust in your training, still have a fantastic time on race day and still make it across. So great nuggets for me. Any nuggets? Anything to add on top of that?
Key core items on the head with an L. But one thing is, elite runners like Chick-fil-A too.
Yeah, he showed up with the waffle fries. I was like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
We're all human, man, even on that level.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's good to see. Very relatable, super humble, willing to share so much valuable information, the importance of hydration. He's a proud supporter of UCAN, supplementation, hydration, electrolyte, meal replacement program. As you mentioned, how some elite runners didn't initially gravitate to compression garments, where he's been on the front end and cutting edge of that. And just his willingness just to share in general, in terms where the entry-level blue-collar athlete could relate, and that he wasn't coming off, as a silver medalist, a Boston champion, New York Marathon champion. It was great of Meb just to make time and whatever we can do with calls to actions for us to be active, instead of waiting on people to initiate, for us to be the initiators in our own respective running communities, were some key takeaways for me.
Fantastic. So other things that we were down, that we did last week, we went down to Santa Cruz to help support legit team member Jeffrey in that store opening of Lululemon.
So our goal with this store was to incorporate and stimulate the local businesses as much as possible. By doing so, we are actually featuring several different artists in our upstairs portion of the store throughout our duration here, featuring at least a minimum of 5 artists at a time.
I think the store used to be a jewelry store, she mentioned to us, and so that second floor is just gorgeous and beautiful. Santa Cruz also mentioned that this is the first major opening in downtown Santa Cruz in quite a while, since the beginning of the pandemic. So great to see Lululemon really investing in that community, and they were so happy to have that store there. And the two of us got to hang out a lot in Santa Cruz, which was fantastic too. So had some fantastic acai bowls, some good Creole food.
Lunch,
yeah.
Poor boys. Yeah, we really explored that wonderful city.
Yeah.
And looking forward to getting back as well. And again, so happy for Jeffrey, and to see how local city officials embrace the store, and that her emphasis on staying in contact with the community, especially from a nature perspective, grassroots perspective, and starting a local weekly run club there in the coming weeks as well. And for us to be part of the inception of that and supporting it and sharing about it, really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Let's see what else we had this weekend. So rock and roll kicked off, virtual run. I saw some videos, some photos, downtown San Pedro Square, up here in the Alameda area as well. Fantastic group. It was good to escape the cloudy, bad conditions that were happening on Friday, and good to see that we had some decent air quality on Saturday and into Sunday as well.
Yeah, like 15 plus teammates out there enjoying the streets of San Jose. It's such a beautiful city. It was a nice way to showcase and just kick off the annual San Jose Rock and Roll weekend, which now is a virtual event. Congratulations to everybody who knocked out either their 5K, 10K, or half marathon. I was with some runners yesterday in San Ramon who were able to get off their the half marathon portion of their series. So good stuff overall, and beautiful weather. Beautiful weather.
Awesome. Yeah. And for those that are always wondering, like, oh, how do I find out about these events? How do I find out when there's a run happening or something happening in the community? We are starting to put together a joint Bay Area running calendar. I'll have a link down below where you can access the running calendar, but we're going to try to keep this up to date. We are looking to chat with other running club leaders. So please, if you are part of a running club or lead a running club, come chat with us. We'd love to get your calendar up on this joint calendar so that everybody can know what's happening in the Bay Area. Nobody can be left out of the loop. And if you're interested in joining some of these running events, that you know exactly where to go. So awesome. Thank you for leading that. You guys also led a run up in San Ramon yesterday. Some fantastic photos and videos from that.
Yeah,
and man, you are the
Horse
hardest working person, staying up till 3 a.m, getting up at 5:30. I mean, whew.
Labor of love, man. Labor of love. Father time is creeping up behind me and others just trying to stay ahead, So get up, get active, have fun in the process. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. Fantastic. We've got some new members up on the screen. Definitely want to point to Crystal Rodriguez, who has done 2 half marathons, hell of a half, and Judgment Day down in Bakersfield. Those sound like hot events. I know how hot Bakersfield can get. And she started running to lose weight, which I think is, one of the reasons many of us started running is, to stay active, keep the body moving. And it's just one of the best activities for improving your metabolism, for starting to melt the pounds off. We've seen so many team members get into the habit of running and lose quite a bit of weight, myself included. I think I've lost probably 40 pounds from when I started to, even the first 6 to 12 months. We were talking to Becky Hernandez. We've talked to Jake McCluskey and his incredible story where he started at 380 pounds and lost close to 180 pounds, I think, at one point in time. So it can just be a great way to lose the weight. So congratulations, Crystal. We will be supporting you. Look forward to having you sign up for another half marathon when races come back, but supporting you up until then as well. So fantastic. And we've got birthdays too. So birthdays, a couple of them on the list. Lisa Beckham, who has been a big supporter for Brazen Racing, for rock and roll, all throughout the area. I know I met her
as well.
Yeah, run local, absolutely. Just a pillar of the racing community. Her birthday is today. We've got Jason Jacobson, who is the race director over at Titanium Racing, which was a co-race director. I don't know if you remember, for the 415 marathon or 415K where we met back in 2013. He was the high school track coach over there and helped JT launch that race. And they continue with a lot of races up in Marin County, So Tiburon half marathon, I think, up there. And Maria Mendoza this week has a birthday as well. Pillar of the Too Legit community.
Absolutely.
Fantastic team member. So yeah.
Soulmate, soul sister.
So happy birthday to all of you folks out there. And if we missed a birthday, we're sorry, but come join our RaceMob community either on Facebook or at racemob.com/join. And we'll get your birthday and we'll get it up here. So happy birthday, folks. All right. Wanted to also talk about this podcast that we launched last week that so many people enjoyed. So many people have been writing in, emailing me, texting us on Instagram, messaging us, and just telling us how much they enjoyed Joyce Lee's podcast from this last week. Just a pillar of the running community. I have a short clip where she talks about community and talks about the fact that she didn't even consider herself a runner.
The running community, I didn't even understand that. I couldn't even have imagined such a community because I kept to myself so much. So when I wandered into it, it was like I happened upon this mystical land, right? Where you have people who will just let you geek out about running as much as you want, and they will match you, probably outdo you, and then you'll go for a run and then eat delicious food, right? Like it was incredible. And for the longest time, like I didn't have a lot of faith in myself. So I just saw myself as the newbie who didn't know anything. Although I loved running and I loved talking about my love for running, I didn't feel like I had anything to brag about. And honestly, I didn't even tell people or refer to myself as a runner until 2013. I figured I didn't have an excuse. If I was running every day, I would actually have to say I'm a runner. So I started the whole yogging fall of 2003. And I went on for that long and I didn't call myself a runner.
Wow.
Yeah. Until I felt like I had to, because I had no other excuse because I was doing a running streak.
So, I mean, I think she talks about in that clip basically how she didn't even consider herself a runner until 2013, until she started this running streak. So she goes for 10 years of, running. And it's so funny. It's a story that we've heard time and time again. I think when we had Becky on the podcast, she also mentioned how she would only run on the treadmill. She was afraid to go run outside. She would never consider herself a runner at all. And we were, even when we posted the audiogram up on Instagram, we had a couple of people say, I'm in the same boat. I don't know if I'm a runner, even though I've run races since 2009, 2010. I don't know if I can consider myself a runner. So hate to break it to you guys. You're runners.
You're
you
runners.
belong.
You're a runner.
Yeah.
You're a runner. You're a runner.
You belong in this community. And,
Absolutely,
as long as you put one foot in front of the other, as long as you are thinking about how to improve yourself, we're here for you. We're here to support you. And so get out there, move, get the support that you need, become part of the community, because everybody, I think that was the other part of her message, was just that she was afraid she couldn't contribute to the community. She didn't know whether she would be received well, or, everyone can contribute. Everyone can contribute. And if you're brand new, if you've been doing it for a while, the people that are brand new, ask questions, because those are the questions that 1,000 other people probably have as well. And so if you ask those questions, we're helping not only our community, but we're helping, a much, much wider net. So come over to community.racemob.com, ask your questions. We'd love to help you out. That's just part of what we want to be doing, is helping people out in their running journey. So fantastic message. And in honor of Joyce, we are starting a 7-day consistency challenge. Now, Joyce has done over 2,800 straight days of running since 2013, January 1st, 2013. And so, it's incumbent upon all of us to just do a little bit. So we're starting the streak today. If you're interested in joining the streak, I have a link down below. It's racemob.com/challenge. Enter your name. We'll send you an email daily to remind you that the challenge is happening. And you can reply to that email to let us know how you're doing. We also have a specific section in the community site. You're going to get a virtual badge. We'll get you some gear as well if you enter the challenge. And we're going to try out this Instagram challenge tool. I've not used it before, so I apologize if I don't know how to use it properly, but we're going to try this out. Try to get as many people to just start. And it starts with, let us know how far you want to go on a daily basis. I'm going to start with at least a mile. Actually, I'll call it out right now. I will do at least 2 miles every day for these 7 days. I'm going to do 100 push-ups in honor of our bet, and I'm going to do 50 pull-ups every day. So I might break it up during the day. I might not do all 50 pull-ups at the same time, maybe 10, 10, 10, for 5 times in the day, but I'm going to be consistent. I need to be a little bit more consistent as well. So that's my challenge. I'm going to start that today, probably right after we get off this recording.
All right, go get it, man. Go get it.
Awesome. So we've got workout of the week. So this was a fun workout that I was part of last week.
I'm glad you said that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you. Saving coach's rep here.
When you show up at 5:30 in the morning and coach is like, oh, you thought 400 meters was a good workout last week. Well, this week we're just gonna take it up a notch. So walk us through the workout, coach. Walk us through what we had last week.
Last week, let's see here, a 1 mile time trial. I think it's important as runners, which one thing we love about running is you get out of it what you put into it. And we don't want to feel like we're always spinning our wheels. So from time to time, it's good to go ahead and get out a stopwatch, pick a distance, time yourself, save that date and time, and then circle back into the future, maybe 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and to see the growth. If you've fallen off a bit, which happens because of life and circumstances, or sometimes if you're continuing putting in the training to see if that training is paying off and if you're seeing some incremental growth. And the other benefits, sometimes there's body composition, weight loss that comes with it as well, sense of confidence. And maybe it may put you in a position where you may think on tackling other distances. So this past Wednesday, we did a 1 mile 4-lap time trial at a local track and had fun in the process. A couple of personal milestone records were achieved during it. And then I think we knocked out several, 200, I'll let you talk about that, 200 meter reps.
Yeah. So we did a 1, 2, 3 this time. So last week we did a 3, 2, 1. This time we did 1, 2, 3, which means 1 minute at basically sprint or very, very fast pace, 2 minutes at your 5K pace, and 3 minutes at a recovery pace. Can you go into the thought process behind that 1, 2, 3 workout?
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Typically, the focus on the track workouts, the common theme is negative split or second case, even split. What we don't want to find ourselves doing is in races or in training efforts, starting off super fast because we all feel good in the beginning. At some point, that lactic threshold, the acid starts to build up a little bit, fatigue starts to settle in. With fatigue, sometimes comes those conversations or doubts, self-doubt talk, and we tend to slow down. The purpose of the 1, 2, 3 is to flip the script a little bit and to start off in a max effort component, and then again practicing changing gears, progressively slowing down, but ultimately the negative split philosophy for those of you running and training, be conservative when you start out. Certainly a little warm up in the beginning, et cetera, but you want to feel very good at the midway point, and like you're surging. If you start out too fast, you can lose a race. If you start out conservatively, you can still pick it up and finish stronger on the back end.
Yeah. So the 1, 2, 3, I guess, is the, oh shoot, I started off too fast. How do I?
I was going to teach some people some lessons out there because, candidly, that's exactly what was happening. Thank you for putting it all in perspective, because we always talk about a negative split, And for those people who are like, yeah, we've trained that way, but I feel good. I have a abundance of energy. I'm just going to go out and just get it. Well, let's see how well you feel after you expend so much energy on the front end, and you still have, you still have effort in front of you that you have to go and get. So, running in a fatigue state, and then the lessons learned and how it's the parallels on race day. Lesson learned: be conservative on the front end in the start, and then gradually, as Sarah Hall did, trust your training, trust a strategy where you will reel people in on your way to that finish and feel good about it, and not where you're breaking down and hanging on, where you're running with confidence and pride and gas in the tank, and you're crushing to that finish line versus hanging on and just getting by the skin of your chinny chin chin.
I love it. I love it. And then after the 1, 2, 3, we went right into 4x200 meters. And I think lesson there was, well, last week we did the 100-meter sprints. This week with the 200-meter, it is relax into your stride, relax into your pace for a bit. And then when you feel it, when you're going down those straightaways, kick it back into gear and try to finish strong. So I think great to kind of have different distances and know how your body should be, reacting to those different distances. And you really are working, last week when we were working just purely sprints, you really are working and taxing your muscles, really trying to get strength, really trying to get form, dialed in and solid. And this week when you're at 200, you are a little bit taxing that anaerobic ability. So that ability for your body to take in breath and making sure that you've relaxed into it enough and that you still have something to get in the tank to kick in there at the very end. So fantastic workout. Great.
Thank you. And on the 200s, thank you, Kevin, for breaking the 200s down. If you're able to get out to a local track on those 200 reps on the curve portion, recover on the curve, and then pick it up on the straightaway, like you're on the straightaway to the finish line, and you want to be at your peak speed as you cross that end portion of that 200-meter rep.
In honor of Joyce, question of the day: what is your longest running streak? What is your longest running streak? So as we talked about before, if you miss a workout, you are 70% more likely to miss the next workout. And so, and it's always a slippery slope from there. So have you ever gone on a running streak? What has that running streak been like? Tell us down below in the comments. We really want to know. Are you on a running streak right now? Have you ever been on one in the past? Maybe scroll through your GPS watches or your Nike apps or whatnot, your Strava account. See if you were ever on a long running streak. I know for me, that was how I got started into running. Was I started that streak. My dog would not let me stop. And so I was on, a couple of months long streak until I got like an ankle injury. And then I went right back into it. So in honor of the challenge this week, the 7-day challenge, and hopefully that leads on for many of you. But what has been the longest streak that you've ever been on? And tell us in the comments below. If you like this content, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. We've got a couple of links to videos, including our breakdown of the London Marathon. Bertrand, thanks so much for joining me on this Monday meetup.
My pleasure.
So happy to chat with you and continue chatting with you. And we will catch you again real soon.